Abandoned outpost. The klaxons wailed throughout Outpost Epsilon 9 as emergency lights bathed the corridors in pulsing crimson. Dr. Eliza Chen raced through the research station's main laboratory, her breath coming in short gasps as she frantically secured irreplaceable data cores containing 5 years of xenobiology research. Status report. She shouted over the din, her voice barely audible above the alarms. Security Chief Thomas Rivera's voice crackled through her comm unit. Krell warships have breached the outer defense perimeter. 6 dreadnoughts, at least 20 cruisers. They're jamming most frequencies, but we managed to get a distress signal out to Confederation Command. Eliza closed her eyes briefly. The Krell hegemony. Stories of their brutality had spread throughout the frontier systems, worlds reduced to ash, populations enslaved or worse. And now they were here, at humanity's most remote research outpost, just beyond Confederation space. Evacuation status, she asked, sliding the last data core into her pack. Not good. Only 2 shuttles prepped. We can evacuate maybe 40 people. We have 173 civilians on station. Eliza felt her stomach drop. Understood. Prioritize the medical staff and children. I'll meet you at Defense Control. Outside the reinforced viewports, the darkness of space was punctuated by flashes of weapons fire as the station's automated defense satellites engaged the incoming Krell vessels. They were woefully outmatched. On her way to the control center, Eliza passed frightened researchers and their families huddled in corridors. She offered reassuring nods she didn't feel. These were her people, her responsibility. In the defense control room, Rivera stood before a holographic display, his face grim as he tracked the approaching enemy fleet. Beside him, Communications Officer Larissa Wong worked furiously at her console. Any response from Confederation Command? Eliza asked, dropping her pack and joining them at the tactical display. Larissa shook her head. We received acknowledgement of our distress call, but she hesitated. Tell me. Larissa's voice was tight. They've denied our request for military assistance. Epsilon 9 is deemed strategically expendable. They're ordering all Confederation citizens to evacuate immediately. The silence that followed was deafening, despite the continuing alarms. That's a death sentence, Rivera said finally. The closest Confederation outpost is 8 days away at maximum shuttle speed. These people will never make it through Krell space. Eliza stared at the tactical display, watching as one of their defense satellites winked out of existence. How long before they'd reach the station? 3 hours. Maybe 4 if the outer defenses hold better than expected. And the shuttles? Ready in 20 minutes. Eliza straightened her shoulders. Get those shuttles launched with as many people as they can safely carry. Then seal all blast doors and prepare for boarding action. We may be expendable to the Confederation, but I'll be damned if we don't make the Krell pay for every inch of this station. Rivera nodded grimly. Yes, Doctor. As the hours passed, Eliza moved through the station, helping organize the remaining civilians into defensible areas. The first impacts against the station's shield sent tremors through the deck plating. Children cried. Adults whispered prayers. Eliza kept moving, kept working. In the medical bay, she found Dr. Sanjay Mehta preparing emergency supplies. You should have been on one of the shuttles, she told him. He didn't look up from his work. So should you. I'm station chief. I stay with my people. Then so do I. He finally met her eyes. Besides, someone needs to patch up Rivera's security teams when the fighting starts. The next impact was stronger, setting off a cascade of new alarms. Shield integrity at 40%, announced the station's eye. How many of the Krell ships have our defense systems managed to take out? Eliza asked, helping Sanjay pack trauma kits. 2 smaller vessels. Their dreadnoughts remain untouched. Not enough. Not nearly enough. When she returned to the command center, Rivera was organizing his security personnel. 30 men and women with standard-issue pulse rifles against what would likely be hundreds of Krell warriors. "We've sealed off sections B through F," he reported. "If they board, they'll have to fight through choke points. We've mined the primary corridors and armed everyone who can hold a weapon." Eliza nodded, watching the tactical display as the Krell vessels surrounded the station, and the research data, encrypted and distributed through the emergency beacons, if even one makes it out. "Good." She took a deep breath. "What about the prototype?" Rivera's expression darkened. "The phase cannon. It's not tested for field use. Power requirements alone would. We're out of options, Chief. If that prototype works as designed, it might buy the survivors more time." Before Rivera could respond, Larissa's console lit up with urgent signals. "Doctor, I'm detecting new warp signatures approaching the system." Eliza's heart sank further. More Krell reinforcements. "No." Larissa's voice held confusion. "These signatures don't match Krell configurations. They're coming in fast, faster than anything I've ever seen." She looked up, bewilderment written across her face. They're human ships." "Impossible," Rivera said. The Confederation was clear. "No help is coming." "Not Confederation," Larissa replied, her eyes widening as she processed incoming data. "These ships are broadcasting Earth Defense Force identification codes." A chill ran down Eliza's spine. The Earth Defense Force. Earth had maintained its independent military even after joining the Confederation, much to the discomfort of other member species. They rarely ventured this far into frontier space. "How many vessels?" she asked. 7. "No, 12 ships. Configuration unknown. They're moving too fast for our sensors to get clear readings." The command center fell silent as everyone processed this unexpected development. The Earth Defense Force was coming. But would they arrive in time? "Incoming transmission," Larissa announced suddenly. It's from the Earth ships." "Put it through," Eliza ordered. A voice, calm and determined, filled the command center. "Outpost Epsilon 9. This is Admiral Marcus Reeves of the Earth Defense Force vessel Retribution. We have received your distress call and are inbound to your position. Hold fast. I repeat, hold fast. Help is coming." Hope, dangerous and fragile, blossomed in Eliza's chest. "Krell vessels are turning to face the new arrivals," Rivera reported, watching the tactical display with renewed intensity. "They're breaking off their attack on the station." On the main view screen, Eliza could now see the approaching Earth ships, sleek, dark vessels moving with impossible grace. Unlike the bulky Confederation ships she was familiar with, these were predatory, purpose-built for war. "My God," whispered Rivera. "What are those?" As they watched, the lead Earth vessel accelerated toward the Krell formation. The massive alien dreadnoughts opened fire, energy weapons lashing out across space. The Earth ship didn't evade. It simply absorbed the impacts against shields that flared silver blue. Then it returned fire. Lances of blindingly white energy erupted from the Earth vessel, cutting through the lead Krell dreadnought as if it were paper. Secondary explosions rippled along the alien ship's hull before it broke apart in a spectacular detonation. "That's impossible," Rivera breathed. "Nothing can penetrate Krell armor that easily." The remaining Earth ships spread out in perfect formation, each targeting different Krell vessels. The battle that followed was unlike anything Eliza had ever witnessed. The Earth ships moved with uncanny coordination, their weapons tearing through the Krell fleet with surgical precision. "They're hailing us again," Larissa reported. Admiral Reeves appeared on the main view screen, his weathered face set in determined lines. "Dr. Chen, I presume. What's your status?" Eliza stepped forward. "Admiral, we have approximately 130 civilians remaining on station, with minimal defenses. Our shields are failing, and we've already taken structural damage." Reeves nodded. "We'll handle the Krell fleet. Prepare to receive boarding teams. Ours, not theirs. We're bringing you home." As Eliza watched the battle unfold, She realized that the stories she'd heard about Earth's military might had not been exaggerated. If anything, they'd been understated. The Krell, terror of the frontier, were being systematically dismantled before her eyes. Why did they come? She wondered aloud. When the Confederation abandoned us. Rivera's answer was simple. Because we're human, and humans don't leave their own behind. Outside, another Krell dreadnought exploded into fragments, illuminating the darkness of space like a newborn star. Through the chaos and destruction, Eliza could see smaller Earth vessels breaking away from the main battle, racing toward Epsilon 9. Help had arrived. Against all odds, they might survive this day after all. Reckoning. Admiral Marcus Reeves stood on the bridge of the EDF Retribution, his eyes fixed on the tactical display as Earth's newest warships tore through the Krell fleet. The enemy's formations, so disciplined at first, had devolved into chaos as ship after ship was destroyed by weapons they couldn't comprehend. Dreadnoughts 3 and 4 neutralized, reported Commander Sofia Takeda, his executive officer. Cruiser wing attempting to regroup at coordinates 227 Mark 45. Reeves nodded. Have the Nemesis and Valkyrie cut them off. No escapes today. He watched as 2 of his ships peeled away from the main battle, moving to intercept the fleeing Krell vessels. The Retribution shuddered slightly as it absorbed fire from the largest remaining enemy dreadnought. Shield integrity at 87%, announced the ship's eye. Minimal power drain. Status of boarding teams? Reeves asked. Teams Alpha through Delta have secured docking access to Epsilon 9. Takeda replied. They're moving through the station now, encountering minimal Krell resistance. The enemy focused their assault on the exterior. Hadn't fully breached the station when we arrived. On the main view screen, Reeves could see Outpost Epsilon 9. A sprawling research facility that now bore the scars of Krell weaponry. Sections of its outer hull were blackened and breached, but the core structure remained intact. And the civilians. Being evacuated to our support vessels, Dr. Chen is coordinating with our teams. Reeves allowed himself a small smile. He'd read Chen's file during the hyperspace jump to this system. Brilliant scientist, decorated explorer, and by all accounts, a natural leader. The kind of human who represented the best of what Earth had to offer. Sir, Takeda said, her voice lowering, Confederation Command is hailing us. Again, Reeves' expression hardened. Put them through. The pinched face of Confederation Admiral Vreen appeared on a secondary screen. The Altarian's normally blue skin had darkened to purple with anger. Admiral Reeves, you are in direct violation of Confederation directives. Vreen began without preamble. Outpost Epsilon 9 was deemed strategically expendable. Your unsanctioned military action risks. Spare me the diplomatic posturing, Admiral. Reeves cut in. Epsilon 9 is a human outpost with human civilians. The Earth Defense Pact is clear. We will protect our people, wherever they may be. The Krell hegemony will view this as an act of war. You've endangered. The Krell committed an act of war when they attacked our research station. Reeves replied coldly. We're simply responding in kind. Before Vreen could protest further, Reeves signaled for the communication to be cut. He had more pressing matters to attend to than placating bureaucrats who had been willing to sacrifice innocent lives for political convenience. On Epsilon 9, Dr. Eliza Chen led a team of Earth Defense Force Marines through the damaged sections of the station, searching for survivors. Each time they found civilians huddled in sealed compartments or makeshift shelters, she felt a surge of relief. Dr. Chen called a Marine lieutenant. We've secured the main laboratory section. Your research team is safe. Thank you, Lieutenant, she replied, pausing to check a structural integrity display on a nearby wall terminal. What about engineering? Still working our way there. We've encountered some Krell warriors who managed to breach the outer sections before our arrival. Eliza nodded grimly. I'm coming with you. Chief Engineer Okafor and his team were reinforcing the reactor containment systems when the attack began. They moved through corridors bearing signs of battle, scorched walls, emergency force fields containing hull breaches, and occasionally, the bodies of Krell warriors. The aliens were massive, their chitinous exoskeletons now pierced by the precision fire of Earth's Marines. When they reached engineering, they found it locked down behind emergency bulkheads. Eliza overrode the security with her authorization codes, and the heavy doors slid open to reveal Chief Engineer Okafor and his team, barricaded behind makeshift defenses with improvised weapons. "Doctor," Okafor exclaimed, lowering a welding torch rigged as a flamethrower. "When we heard weapons fire, we thought." "It's over, Ibrahim," Eliza said, relief flooding her voice. "Earth sent help. We're being evacuated." As the Marines escorted Okafor's team toward the evacuation point, Eliza's comm unit activated. "Dr. Chen, this is Admiral Reeves. Please report to Docking Bay 3. There's something you need to see." When she arrived at the docking bay, she found Reeves standing before a viewport, watching as Earth fighters systematically destroyed the remnants of the Krell fleet. The Admiral turned as she approached, tall, composed, with eyes that had seen too many battles. "Dr. Chen, your reputation doesn't do you justice. Holding this station against a Krell assault with civilian security teams. Impressive. We did what we had to do, Admiral. But we wouldn't have lasted another hour without your arrival." She studied him carefully. "The question is, how did you get here so quickly? And why did you come when the Confederation explicitly ordered no rescue?" Reeves gestured to the battle outside. "Do you know why the Krell attacked your station, Doctor? Resources, territory. They've been expanding aggressively for years." "No. They came for your research." Seeing her surprise, he continued, "Your work on xenobiology, particularly your studies of Krell physiology, has not gone unnoticed. They feared what you might discover." "My research is purely scientific, not military," Eliza protested. "To humans, perhaps. But to the Krell, knowledge is a weapon." Reeves turned back to the viewport. "As for how we got here, that's classified. But I can tell you why we came. Earth monitoring stations detected your distress call at the same moment the Confederation received it. We also intercepted their response." Eliza felt cold anger at the memory. "They abandoned us." "Yes, they did." Reeves' voice hardened. "The Confederation has grown complacent, willing to sacrifice outlying stations and colonies to maintain their precious peace with aggressive species like the Krell. But Earth remembers what it means to fight for our own." Outside, one of the Earth vessels demonstrated this philosophy in action. The sleek warship designated Valkyrie had cornered 3 Krell cruisers attempting to escape. Instead of destroying them outright, it deployed smaller craft that attached to the Krell vessels' hulls. "Boarding teams," Reeves explained, noting her interest. "We're capturing their command crews alive. For interrogation. For justice, they will stand trial for the attacks on civilian targets." He turned to face her fully. "The Confederation preaches peaceful coexistence while allowing atrocities at its borders. Earth believes in accountability." A massive explosion lit up space as the last Krell dreadnought's reactor went critical, its superstructure breaking apart in an expanding sphere of debris. "Will there be consequences?" Eliza asked quietly. "For Earth, I mean. The Confederation won't be pleased that you interfered." Reeves smiled thinly. "Let them complain. Earth has maintained military independence for a reason. We suspected that one day the Confederation's policies would place human lives at risk." His expression softened slightly. "Your distress call was received by every human colony and outpost in this sector, Doctor. Even if we hadn't come, others would have." The realization struck Eliza with unexpected force. The Confederation abandoned us, but humanity didn't. Precisely. Security Chief Rivera joined them, his uniform torn and bloodied, but his expression triumphant. "All civilians accounted for, Doctor. The Earth vessels are ready to transport everyone to safety." "What about the station?" Eliza asked. "Too damaged to save," Reeves replied. "But we've retrieved all your research data and equipment. You'll be given facilities on New Terra to continue your work, if you choose." As they watched, smaller Earth vessels moved among the wreckage of the Krull fleet, ensuring no survivors could report back to the hegemony. It was methodical, professional, and utterly devastating. "You should know," Reeves said quietly, "that this isn't the first time the Confederation has abandoned human outposts. Just the first time we arrived quickly enough to save everyone." The implications of that statement hung in the air between them. "What happens now?" Eliza asked. "Now, we send a message." Reeves' eyes were steel, not just to the Krell, but to the Confederation and every other species watching. Humanity protects its own. As the last of the station's personnel boarded the Earth vessels, Eliza took a final look at Outpost Epsilon 9, her home for the past 5 years. Despite the damage, despite the terror of the attack, she felt a curious pride. They had faced extinction and survived, not because of the Confederation's protection, but because humanity had refused to abandon them. The Earth Defense Force ships formed up, their sleek profiles silhouetted against the local star as they prepared to depart. Behind them, the wrecked hulls of Krull warships drifted silently, a graveyard in space and a warning to any who might threaten human worlds in the future. Admiral Reeves stood on his bridge, watching as the last transport docked with the retribution. "Set course for New Terra," he ordered, "and prepare a full report for Earth Command. They'll want to know everything." "And the Confederation?" asked Commander Takeda. Reeves considered for a moment, then smiled coldly. "Send them the sensor logs of the battle. No commentary needed." As the Earth fleet accelerated away from the battlefield, their message was clear. Humanity had evolved beyond the constraints of the Confederation's cautious diplomacy. They would forge their own path among the stars, defenders, not victims. And woe to any who forgot that lesson.